We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. Yeah, we can see what we can do from here. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We'll see you there. Investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
All right, everybody, welcome back to what?
To the Larry Steinhouse.
To the Larry Steinhouse show. We're having such technical difficulties here with the live stream. I'm trying to get it back on. I don't know if it's back on. We'll find out. If anybody could see this show, let us know. But it's just, I'm having so many problems here.
Some health problems too.
I have health, and I'm sick.
Yeah.
And I'm still here entertaining you guys.
Not us.
Right? You know, we got a lot of people coming. They come into the school, and it's like, your show is great. And I'm like, well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And the funny part is, our show is just us.
Yeah.
You know, if you come into Investor Schooling, you're actually going to find that the three of us are exactly the same way here as we are in class.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Omri. We make fun of Omri all day long. He reads the phone number even there. What is the phone number?
I have no idea.
Tell everybody the phone number.
For what? For the show?
For the show.
That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137.
And people could call in and do what right now?
They can talk to us about anything they want. And if they're sick of hearing us talking about politics or whining about
Politics, huh?
I know, politics.
Politics.
It's the same thing we were talking about, how your grammar is a little off. But we love you for it anyway, Omri. It makes you you.
Do you want to take a Uber? And we can also, if you're sick hearing this nonsense, you can call and talk about the right stuff, which is what we like talk about, which is money,
politics,
which is real estate. I will ignore them until he will call.
Politics.
Anything you want to talk about, 855-939-1137.
All right.
855-939-1137.
And we even talk about money, which is our favorite topic. We talk about money. We talk about how to make money. We talk about how to buy properties with no money. We talk about landlording. We talk about the stock market. Right? What else do we talk about?
We all talked recently a lot about the 1% rule, and we need to remember, or we need to very careful people that we also talk about on Thursday. The 1% rule is a guideline. The fact that we call it the 1% rule, people believe, okay, it's a rule. I have to go buy. And then they buy a house or they buy a property and the 1% rule apply, and then they figure out how expenses. And they said, okay, but the 1% rule apply. Yeah, it is apply, but you still need to look at...
Okay, so why don't you explain what the 1% rule is first before you get into this whole conversation?
Background sound, yeah. So what we say, according to the 1% rule, is that if you have a deal right now, and the deal will bring you a month, 1% of the amount you invest into the deal worth it. That's the 1% rule,
so
which means
the way you said it was very confusing. So let me explain it.
Okay.
If the property has a price, let's say it's $100,000, and the rent is 1% of the $100,000, which is $1,000, it's probably going to cash flow.
So I explained to you what I tried to do, and maybe I made a mess out of it. The 100,000 for that you see, it's not the value or the buy price of the house. It's how much you need to put into the property in order to get from it the 1%, $1,000 a month, according to you. So if you buy a house...
No. It's very simple.
Okay.
If somebody calls me up and says, I have a property for sale, and they want $100,000 for it, and I ask them the rent, and the rent is at least $1,000, I'm interested in it.
Even if it's not in a rentable position right now? Condition, I'm sorry.
So let's talk about that, right?
Okay.
So let's say it needs $30,000 worth of renovations.
How much time the renovation will take?
It doesn't matter. You're making it very complicated.
Okay.
The 1% rule is so you can figure out whether a property is worth it, whether worth even looking at within 5 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, so if I'm buying a property and it's in perfect condition, and it's $100,000, and I can rent it for $1,000, it's probably going to cash flow.
Correct.
Okay, just like that.
Correct.
But if I need to put $30,000 worth of work into it, and the property costs me $100,000, how much does the property really cost me?
$130,000.
Right. So how much rent do I need?
You need $1,300.
Right. So if I'm not making at least $1,300, then the 1% rule doesn't work.
Correct. But there are more. There are other things you need to put into this equation. Okay. In New Jersey, for example, we know that taxes can be very high. So
it's a rule of thumb, Omri. It's
Correct,
just a rule of thumb. The
Yeah.
1% rule is a rule of thumb. We actually have a calculator that people can use.
Yes.
That will figure it out also. But the reason I do it, I use the 1% rule, is very simple because it makes it easy to determine whether it's even worth going to see the person.
Yes, correct.
So if somebody has a property for $100,000 and they're renting it for $500, I don't even talk to the person.
Yeah.
I mean, we were looking at a property the other day in Newtown. It's listed for $2 million, and I'm very interested in it. I really like it. I want to own it.
I know, me too.
And I originally added the rents up wrong, but when we added the rents up, we found that there was $15,000 a month in rent. And some of them are vacant, but let's assume that it could get that $15,000.
And some maybe are under rented.
Either way.
That's fine.
But he's already $500,000 too high then.
Correct.
There's nothing to talk to this guy about. Unless he's going to sell it to us for $1.5 million, we have absolutely no interest in buying this property.
So I want to tell you something. 3 years ago, I bought a property in Norristown, which is my favorite area. And it made sense. It made great sense, and the tenant stayed inside, but I made it part of the agreement of sale with the seller that before I purchase the property, he will increase the rent. Why? To make it more sensible to me. Now, I increased the rent myself later on, and actually the tenant 2 years later decided to leave, and I have a new tenant there. But the point is, there are ways to make the 1% guideline, the 1% rule apply, even if it doesn't apply from, let's say, from the door. There are things you can do. If you know that the place is very well under rented.
Sure.
And you can...
But you got to be very careful with that.
Yes. Because if that...
So some people, they call that pro forma rent. And they say, well, I'm renting it for $1,300, but the normal market value is $1,700. Now, that could be right. It could not be right. But if the normal market value is $1,700, does that mean I should now pay $170,000 for this property if the current tenant in there is at $1,300? No. What I want to do is I want to pay $130 for that property, and then when that tenant leaves, if I'm lucky, I'll get the $1,700. Maybe I'll only get $15.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about how you establish what the rent should be in the area?
So that's also interesting. So basically, rent is like everything else. It's the amount of money somebody will pay. And what I basically do is I pretty much know the areas in which I invest, which highly recommend everybody do. A lot of people are like, I've never invested in Ohio, so I want to invest in Ohio. Like, well, how do you know where to invest in Ohio? I don't know. I just heard that people invest in Ohio. So you don't know where to invest, you don't know what to invest in, you don't know what the rents are, you don't know what the prices are. When you get to know an area, and the first area you should get to know is the area you live in. So where I live, I know what the houses sell for. I know pretty much what they rent for, and I know what they could go for. So that's easy. So then if I have a property, I know how much it rents for only because I'm used to the area. But if it's a property that's not an area or it's an area that I don't know, because this happens a lot with students, they call me up because we have students all over the country. So I could go to a couple of places and guesstimate the rent. First place would be Zillow. There's a company called Rentometer, which is now subscription. It used to be free. But Rentometer will also tell you what the approximate rents are. But you're going to get a feel from the guy you're buying the property from too. I wouldn't take it for granted, but at the same time, you could also go to Facebook Marketplace, which is a really great idea. Go to Facebook Marketplace and see how many properties are for rent in that area. You could also go to Zillow, same thing. What properties are for rent and what are they asking?
Yeah, correct.
Now, if your property's a little bit nicer, if you have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and you saw one that's a 2-bedroom, like the kitchen wasn't upgraded and the bathroom wasn't upgraded, but it's clean, and yours is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and yours is upgraded, it's not going to go for much more. It might go for a maximum maybe of $200 if it was the same exact places, like next to each other. Because you got to remember that it's not going to go for that much more. People want to rent. They want, and their place is clean. It just doesn't have new cabinets. Who cares? They don't care that it doesn't have new cabinets. What they care about is that's the rent that they can pay. Now, you might have some guy say, listen, you know what? This is so nice. I'll pay an extra $200 for it. So don't get stuck on, saying that if I renovate the property, I'm going to get a lot more money. Now, if it's really garbage, like the one in Delaware that I'm renovating, and the property was garbage when I bought it, but it had a tenant, and the tenant finally left, and now I'm renovating the property. It's costing me a lot more than I thought it was. But that property, when it's done, it's going to have central air, or sort of central. It's going to have a brand new kitchen. It's going to have brand new floors. When the tenant left, they were paying $1,400. Between them leaving and the proper rents and the upgrades in the unit, I'll probably get $1,800.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get $2,000.
No, but it's important to say it's every time a tenant change for us costs than just increasing the rent many times. So, for example, I know many people believe not to increase. When we talked about it, I think Monday, not to increase the rents in order to keep the tenant inside, and that's one philosophy. And some people say let's increase it every year. Some say I want to increase it every 2 years, but in larger humps. You say, I guess.
No, larger chunks. Sure,
chunks. Yeah, exactly. To me, if I know that the place needs, like you said, like $35,000 into it, I will keep the tenant inside and I will try to work it out with them. Now, if the tenant try to be, I don't care, I'm not increasing, I'm not paying you more for the rent, blah, 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 that's not a tenant I want to deal with. But of course, I would like to work with a tenant if they stay in the house right now, instead of going and renovate it.
It's always cheaper to keep a tenant in the house than it is to ask them to leave or for them to leave. So,
yes.
If you can work something out with tenants, great. But there's a point where it's diminishing returns. I had one where, the guy was just wrecking the place. And every time a contractor went in there, they would call me up and go, you not believe how bad this place is. You're not going to believe how bad this place is. You're not going to believe how bad it is. And then they finally left.
That's not something we want to participate in.
It's very rare that happens, by the way.
I agree.
I think that's happened to me twice in 30 years. I've been doing this for 43 years.
Yeah.
And it rarely ever happens. But these were just bad tenants. They had, obviously these are somebody I screened, because if I screened them, this is my property manager screened them. Because if I screened them, then it wouldn't have happened.
What do you think about going, I think we talked about that recently too. What do you think about going and meeting the potential tenant in their current residence?
That's an interesting question. So this is something that, it's funny because I used to go to a lot of real estate meetings. I'm going to have a scoop of honey while I talk to you.
Do that.
All right.
You want me to say something, or you want to finish your honey first?
I'm going to.
I'm gonna actually say something.
Go ahead.
So you were talking more earlier about how you try to trust people. You were talking about the whole bank thing.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you that when I first started, I really trusted people who were trying to come and take a look at my property to rent, and I have learned very quickly that I honestly don't trust most of them.
You talk about potential tenants?
Potential tenants. You know what I mean? And I remember talking to Larry about it, and my daughter has this gift, and Larry has it too, that they can somehow, they get a sense of that person just really quickly, and I don't have that gift. I'm working on it, right? But I'm telling you that I have learned to not be when they say, oh, I'll be back in half an hour, I'm really interested, I'll give you a call back tomorrow, or just, they come up with some kind of whatever excuse. I know right from the get-go now that they're full of crap. And that, I don't hold my breath with any of them, and I just kind of keep moving forward. Whereas before I'd be like, all right, I'll wait, 10 minutes, and I'll, because I would go get the deposit, even though I told them to bring the deposit, whatever. And
it's the signs. That's why, if you remember, we talked, I think, a few weeks ago about your Philadelphia tenant.
Yeah. That
she left after how many court cases?
4.
4 court cases, and you didn't change the lock. And I said to you, listen, a problematic tenant like that, When I get the keys, the first thing I will do is to change the lock, because I don't know if they have another key somewhere that they kept, and they will move in. They will move back in tomorrow. So what's the signs are important for me? I want to see if a person has goodwill. Yes, goodwill to me is still a guideline to life. If not, I will go into.
So before I ate my honey, so I had a little bit more of a voice.
Okay.
You asked a question.
Yeah.
And the question was, do you go see your tenants at their place, like before they move in?
Current resident, yeah.
Right. So the interesting part about that was there was I
Meetup
used to go to
groups.
a lot of meetup groups,
Yeah.
and some of the meetup groups would talk about that, and I literally would say, "Are they crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, what a waste of time." Right? Well, no, this is my great place, and I only rent to people with 800 plus credit scores. And I'm like, those people don't understand this business. If you're only renting to people with 800 plus credit scores and only renting to people that you go see what their place looks like, you don't understand the efficiency of this business. Most likely those people have one or two places, and they probably have cameras on the outside of them, maybe even cameras on the inside of them, because they're control freaks.
Yeah. You can't.
Right. I mean, I go see somebody, when they come to my place, they want to rent the place, I speak to them, I get a feel for who they are, and I ask them their credit score, and then I make a decision whether I'm going to take them or not. And I take them. And if I take them and the place looks like heck when I rent it to them, well, they understand that they have to give it back to me in the condition that I rented it to them in.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I don't care if they paint the walls black. I don't care if they, if there's poop on the floor. But if there's poop on the floor, they better clean it up before they give it back to me, and it better not smell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now, I will tell you, if I went in there and there's poop on the floor, I'd call the, department. I'm just using that as an extreme.
No, I'm with you. I believe that you can get the person by just talking to them. It's sometimes another precaution, let's call it, to go and see them in their current residence, but I'm not doing it. I don't know why. I just...
I've heard a lot of people say they go out and look at their cars to see what their car looks like.
In the
Not
cars?
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that a couple times. People go and look at their cars.
It's not a bad idea, but it's better than going to see their apartment.
Yeah, I mean, why waste the time?
I
mean,
never
it's
want...
waste of time. I
So,
won't do it.
I never want to go and see my properties once the tenant is inside.
I
If
agree
there
with
is a
you.
problem-
I don't want to know either.
If there is a problem, I want to be there first. If there is a recurring problem, be sure I will be there and not only send my worker or my plumber, my electrician, it doesn't matter. I will be there because I want to see why this problem keep happening. And sometimes, and I experienced that too, I will get, for example, a call from the township or the police asking me if I have a key. And that happened to me too.
Do you have a key?
If I have a key.
Do you have one?
I do. You
I
don't. Yeah, I know. You don't.
I don't.
I don't.
And you know what? When a cop, that's another reason I never even thought about that. If a cop calls me up and says, "Do you have a key?" I say no,
You know when it happened?
because I don't have one.
You know when it happened? I was with Tamar in labor when Ozzy was born. And the call. Or I don't know what happened there. It was the neighbors. And the police said, "We need a key for this unit right now." And the tenant didn't answer. I don't know, but they wanted the key right now. I said, "Listen, man.
So why did they want a key? Or did they have a warrant?
I don't know. I have no idea. And again, I don't care. But in this case, if I was available, I would drive there and I would like to go and see what's going on.
Right. Got it.
Because it's still my property. I care about the property.
Sure.
And if people are what insurance company like to go and see it in my own eyes.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, it's important for me to be proud on everything I'm doing. If a person lives in my property in a way that I don't feel comfortable that people will live, I'm not sure I would like to take to be part of that.
Got it.
Yeah, it's not too judgmental to say, but that's how I feel.
All right. We're still on this topic. We got about another minute to the show. What else do you want to mention?
What I meant to mention, we talked about that I think a week ago or something about the right that we have as landlord to ask a person, to ask a a potential tenant if they can support themselves in the house. And we talked about the line between asking those questions and being blamed for discrimination at some point.
You know, something else that came up the other day that's
Yeah.
kind of along the same lines is that when you're renting it to two people, that each individual person should be able to rent it on their own. That came up in class.
Yeah,
the other
that
day.
was what we had a student come in to talk about that. But I actually don't agree with that.
Me too.
They have joint income and they can afford joint income. That's fine. But they need to
Yes.
understand that they're both on the lease. If one leaves, that other person is still on the lease.
Correct.
And they are both responsible for that lease, and they both qualified. That lease qualified with both of them.
They can come to you and say at some point,
I want off the lease.
exactly, I'm off the lease,
They can't
and
do that.
you knew that I can get off the lease, or you
Right.
knew that I can afford this house on my own because my friend left. All those
Right.
things are not my problem.
Exactly.
To me, in front of me, in the lease, there is one entity, and that's it.
So what
All right,
happens?
hold on. We're done. All right, guys. So we can talk about this on the other hour. So if you listen on Saturday, we're gonna have another hour coming up. So I want to thank, of course, all the callers. One caller.
Yes.
I want to thank Glenn Page. I'm sorry about you guys who were online and didn't get the whole show, but you'll have the whole show. So I want to thank the sweet Glenn Page for doing such a great job.
And the sweet honey that made
And-
your voice back.
Yes, now be quiet. And if you want to go to investorschooling.com, you can take a class. Go to investorschooling.com, and we will see you Thursday.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed on
Are
the
we
program are
online?
solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests
We
and do
are?
not reflect the opinions of
Glenn, how much
WPHT
time do
or
we have
Odyssey.
before we start again?
You have until you have 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right.
Okay, guys.
WPHT, HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
In a world filled with financial information, Citizens can help you make sense of it. So whether you're signing up or hitting snooze on some financial newsletters, scrolling through your socials that all say the same thing, or getting with your neighbors at a cookout to game plan college funds, you're ready to make the most of it. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Learn more at citizensbank.com/made-ready.
California Psychics is the real deal. They helped me out, totally changed my attitude,
Hey, Larry.
totally got me psyched to start my business, and take a new path in my life.
Hey, Larry.
California Psychic.
What was that?
What? Yeah.
98% of the psychics who applied to
Yeah.
us, so we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing,
I have a
it's
game at
free.
3, so
New
if we could
customers
get out
receive 20
like,
minutes for
you
just
know, somewhere between
$20.
like
So
59 minutes
experience
and 20 seconds.
CaliforniaPsychics.com.
And I'm going to give you an extra.
Omri's not here for the next show.
Who is it?
And now
Omri's not here for the next show.
I just want to say that friendship
Looks like it's going to be the Dr. Deb show.
It's going to be the Larry and Dr. Deb show.
Good
Yes.
thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Got a shopping list a mile long, but need
All right.
I'm going to
EV?
I'm going to give you an extra. I'm going to give you an
Getting
extra
Fill up
30
your car
here, Larry.
and your
so you can
battery at
direct
the
your
same
voice.
time.
Is it a code or is it something
Network
else?
of Shell recharge stations at some of your
Okay. Is
favorite
Honey
shopping
helpful?
spots. You can get everything
Maybe.
done in one trip. Shop for groceries,
trying to lose my
clothes,
voice
and
again.
more while your EV charges up.
I would
And
put
never
some
miss a
tea,
beat.
like it would help, too.
Shell recharge.
Yeah, I had
Download
tea.
the
I had
Shell
3
app
cups of
today
tea so
to
far. I
find
had
the
honey.
nearest
I had
Shell
vitamin
recharge
C.
location.
No, I'm saying
For
if
more
you put
information
some
on locations and how
honey
Shell
in your
measures
tea,
reliability,
Oh, yeah,
visit
yeah, I know.
shell.us/Shell
It'll help you
recharge.
through.
But I've had so much tea, I don't even want
Weekday
any more.
mornings, 6 till 10.
I voted for Trump.
My wife sent me divorce papers. What do
I
I
think
do?
you liked it.
I didn't even know it was possible to be served divorce papers this quickly. I'm shocked. I married somebody willing to throw away our entire life over politics. Last week we were happy. Today we're getting divorced.
20 seconds.
That's
You guys
hysterical.
can't agree with your spouse on every political issue.
Oh, hell no.
You can only be with somebody if they align with you politically.
That's why I mentioned the Joy Reid clip. Like, you're really not going to go to somebody's house on Thanksgiving or invite them over because Trump won?
Stand by.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
WPHT, WPHT-HD,
You're hot.
WGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. The Larry Steinhouse Show.
All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Larry Steinhouse Show. We are here broadcasting live from Investor Schooling's headquarters right here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I am Larry Steinhouse, and you can tell by my voice that I have a bit of a cold or something. I woke up this morning, I had complete laryngitis, I couldn't even speak. Oh. And, you know, my wife is like, she has all this holistic stuff.
Yeah.
And she gave me a whole bunch of stuff, and she said, go do the show. Make sure you don't talk to anybody beforehand. She didn't realize I had a webinar beforehand. So we do a webinar at 11:30. At 11:30, we do a webinar for anybody who wants to come. By the way, if you ever want to be on the webinar, you can go to yourpieceofthegoodlife.com. Yourpieceofthegoodlife.com. You can be on a webinar. But anyway, so she gives me all this stuff and says, go take all this stuff with you. So I've been eating honey. That's why I'm burping. I'm burping up the honey.
You're burping up the honey.
I'm burping up the honey, right? Honey and tea and vitamins and all this stuff just so I could be on the show with you guys. So on this show, we discuss several ways of making more money. We concentrate on real estate investing, stock options trading, the stock market, how to maximize your retirement funds. And, of course, you could call us anytime. Oh, wait, do we have a recording ready to go, Glenn, of the phone number?
Taking a call.
All right, take the call. Okay. You can call us anytime during the show at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137 with your questions about money, finance, or anything on your mind, and even politics. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Finally, we had the last show. We had a system crash. I had to reboot the whole system. I lost all my assets.
Okay.
Which is a tough thing, too. I'm here right now with Dr. Deb. It's just her and I. I'm doing the show today, which is pretty awesome. And, of course, Omri had to run out. He had to go do something important. The Larry Steinhouse Show is brought to you by Investor Schooling. At Investor Schooling, we teach you things about money I bet you never knew. We focus on practical learning, and we will equip you with real-world skills in real estate investing, stock options, tax-saving tips, and the secrets of financial freedom. I've got another 55 minutes with this voice, don't I?
You do. And I got to actually hear this voice for another 55 minutes. Wow, okay.
Our headquarters are right here in Bucks County, but our online courses teach eager investors all over the country. RSVP for a free class this Thursday night at investorschooling.com. Now, listen, guys, if you're listening to this show, I want you to tell everyone how dedicated I am to doing this show. I'm so dedicated that I'm losing my voice again while I talk to you. By the way, this is still better than it was this morning. I would literally open my mouth and nothing would come out. It was weird. It was really weird how I had this morning.
Is it a treat for your wife or not? Or not?
All right, Dr. Deb, it looks like we got Gene in Philly actually right away. Go ahead, Gene. What do you got?
Okay, Larry. I
think I have 74 now.
Large number.
I think it's 74 now.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I know you have a reason, and I don't know if I have 10, but I have more than a few, and I only use certain ones. Usually the 0 bills. You get a credit card on a 0%, and you use it for that much time. Usually it's a year or 18 months or so.
Yeah.
And then it times out, and then you got to get another one with 0% if you're lucky, or if you're not, you got to just use one credit card and pay your bills and keep things going. So I found that over the years I had quite a few of these credit cards, and I stopped using them.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't use them, after a while, they
take them
shut
away.
them down.
If you don't use them, you lose them. Exactly right. So I actually have to go through.
How do you
Go ahead.
How do you keep that many cards active, like juggling balls in the air or something, without having them time out and eventually they'll close them?
So it's interesting you say that because it's exactly right. That's what you need to do. You need to make sure that you're using your credit cards, right? And what I'll do is sometimes I have subscriptions online. Like I have a Razor subscription, for example, and the Razor subscription is tied to one card. I don't have to worry about that card anymore because now I got the Razor subscription. So I'm not worried about that. Then I've got another card with another subscription, another card with then I have my main ones that I use, and then every once in a while, about every 2 months or so, 2 or 3 months or so, I have a card that I switch out of my wallet and I switch it with another one that I know I haven't used in a while. The other thing that's nice is every once in a while you're going to get a letter from the credit card company saying, hey, you haven't used this card in a while. if you don't use it by the end of the month, they're going to take it away. So I like those. At least they warn you first.
Right.
And if they warn you, at least it's okay. Because I've done that before. As a matter of fact, I just put a card in my wallet this weekend that I got a letter on Friday about. Now, it was anyway, it's relatively low. It's $5,000. Most of my cards are 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. But this one was 5, and I don't want to lose it. So I just started using it.
Well, I sort of have a similar thing, but I don't have 70 or 74. But it's just keeping track of all of the different due dates and the different ones that you have. I try to keep it simple, so I know I have this card and it's always due on the 18th, and I don't miss up. But with that many cards, I just figured, wow, how do you keep track of all the times and the different, or are they all on the same due date?
No, they're all different due dates, but here's another thing that most people don't understand, that your due date is the last possible day you're allowed to pay that. Don't pay your cards on a due date. Pay your cards the second you get the bill. It's no different.
Well, I'll tell you what I do.
Okay.
And I don't know if all the cards do it, but I pay them over the phone, and they have my checking account information, so they just take it right out of my checking account, and it's never late as long as I make the call before midnight on the due date.
So I won't waste the time on the phone. I'll do it automatically, like online.
That sounds painful.
Yeah, like I don't want to waste my time on the
phone. Why don't you go online? You have, first of all, do you have a computer?
I don't do anything like that online.
Okay. Because you don't have a computer? Or because you don't trust it?
No, I have one, but I don't want all that information going out on a computer.
Why?
But on the phone, it's automated. You don't have to talk to anybody. You can call them at 3 a.m.
So how long does it take you to pay one credit card? 5 minutes? 6 minutes?
Not even 5.
It takes me less than 30 seconds to pay it online.
Yeah, it's just you're wasting. I mean, because you don't get that time back. So, I mean, like once you know, what I mean, you have to call, and then you have to have your credit card number, then you have to accept it. I mean, if it works for you, then it works for you. I mean, I do 2 things. I do bill banking so that it goes out on certain days. And then I also have the automatic pays where it just it drafts on whatever day, so it's never late. You know what I mean? So I do.
Yeah, I set up the auto pay on every one of my cards, just in case I somehow forgot. Now I never forget because every week I'm paying my credit cards every week. But in case I forgot, I have the auto pay on it anyway. Yeah, and it's always the auto pay is always for more than the minimum anyway. So even if I forgot, at least it's not.
Yeah, I always pay the balance in full if it doesn't have.
That's fine. That's great.
I mean, unless it's a 0%, I always pay everything right up.
But I might. Yeah, I might suggest that you get. I'm
just saying that's what I do.
Yeah, I might suggest that you get a little more comfortable paying them online. It'll take you less time, and you could see more information online too.
Yeah.
I could see. You know, like if I have a promotion ending, I could see my promotions ending. To me, it's just more convenient.
Yeah.
But I get it. You know, some people just don't want to embrace the computer age, and I totally get it. You know, I have trouble with AI, so I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's more like, and I'm not trying to put a plug in for your book with the money hacks, but hackers are always out there trying to get your stuff.
Okay, so let me. So do you know what happens? Let's say first of all, I have 74 credit cards. You know how often I get a credit card stolen?
Wait, you mean stolen physically, or
no?
I
mean like they stole the
online?
information somehow.
Yeah. Well, with that many cards, you might be lowering the potential. I don't know.
Well, I would think I'm raising the potential if I've had that many cards, right?
I think you're raising it.
So it probably happens once.
Yeah, you probably are.
Right. So it probably happens once every 12 to 18 months that I notice an erroneous charge on my card.
Yeah.
That is not mine. And I call up and they fix it. I don't even call up. I actually dispute it right online now because they let you dispute it right online. And then they give me another card that comes over. And so it doesn't really matter. It's not like nothing bad is going to happen to you if somebody got your credit card number and charged $5,000. I don't know, whatever.
I've had that happen.
Yeah, so. And then what did you do? And what'd you do?
Oh, I called up and told them that wasn't me,
right, exactly.
and so forth.
Exactly. So it's not a big deal. So I don't really.
I'm just.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying I'm talking about your computer, and the information that's on your computer can be hacked.
So what? Same thing. Who cares? So they get my computer. So what? What are they going to do? They're going to steal my credit cards? Who cares? My credit cards are all insured by the credit card company. The credit card company's going to give me 100% of that money right back. In fact, that's why I tell people to use credit cards in the first place. Because if you have a debit card in your wallet and you have a credit card in your wallet and you use the debit card comes out of your account right away. So if somebody steals your debit card or steals your wallet and they use your debit card, then you lost that money for at least 30 days. With a credit card, I don't have to worry about that money ever.
Yeah, I don't know why they have debit cards.
Because debit cards are the greatest thing that's happened to the banking industry, because people use the debit cards and then they don't keep track of their accounts and they bounce checks. And the credit card and the banks can charge you $35-40 a check for every check you bounce.
So you think they like that because people mess
absolutely.
up? But people that mess up like that don't have money anyway, so they won't pay up.
No, they will. You know who pays the most in bounce check fees?
No.
Poor people.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They don't have enough in their account.
So then they pay the bounce check fees. So that's why it's I hate to say it, but it's rigged against poor people. Yeah. It always is.
Right. Yeah. So, at any rate, that was my question. I'm reading the book. I got your copy of the book.
Great.
And it was a complimentary copy. You might remember.
Maybe we should give out a copy to somebody.
We should. We had somebody call in that one time.
So, Gene, tell us what we should have a contest for to give the book out this time today.
Let me see. Let's say we could play over and under how many properties you own.
No, I'll never tell.
He'll never tell. I've known this man for 4 years and he still hasn't told me.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to tell exactly. You can just play over and under.
Well, the answer is always 0 anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, he won't say.
Yeah, I won't.
You don't own any of them, right?
Right. They're all in trust. Yeah. And then the trust, the beneficiary.
All right.
I teach this. I teach this stuff. I own nothing. I qualify for Medicaid.
It's amazing how you do it.
Come to class, man. When are you going to come to class and learn more?
Well, I still have issues on Thursdays where it's a conflict, and I'm trying to figure out if I can do it sometime. But I don't. You don't just go to one class. You have to.
You go to one first class. You go to one class at a time, right? Go to one class.
Mm-hmm.
If you never come back, it's fine. Then you went. You had a good time. So what? It's
would be cool.
So then come.
You know.
I'm going to tell you what I told somebody else the other day. You either do or you don't. You don't try. You either do it or you don't do it. But you don't. There's no in between in there.
Well, for me, it would be more like becoming a student.
First, come to the free class. See, this is the thing, right? So everybody's 5 steps ahead of where they need to be. The first thing you need to do is come to a free class. Just see if you like it. You might not even like it.
Well, I know I'll like it. I think just being in the same room with you guys.
So imagine this. Imagine you go to a free class and you learn something. And then you say, I can't be a student or I can't afford to be a student. Whatever the answer is, doesn't matter. You went to a free class and you learned something. Just do it. Who cares? I'm giving it away. Come.
Well, I was going to put in a plug for the book.
Go ahead.
Because it's amazing to me the way it's written that as an author, you're the author of the book, and I don't know if you ever wrote more than one book.
I have.
But it just seems like your style is very, what's the word? It's easy to read.
Yep.
And it makes sense.
I write on a 6th grade education level.
It projects your personality and your approach,
Yes, it does. Absolutely. It's amazing,
There's a lot
isn't
of stuff in there that... Yeah, I think it's amazing to read the book and listen to your show, and kind of it comes through on the radio, and I'm glad I got the book.
All right, Gene.
I figure if
tell everybody the name of the book.
It's called Money Hacks.
All right, Money Hacks
something about millionaire.
Right, Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse. So you guys go in the book, Gene. I appreciate you, man. You're awesome. And let's go to something else, Deb.
All right.
What do you got?
Well, we were talking before. I think that right before we ended, we were talking a little before about how you have to have. We had a student come in, or a person come in. We were saying when you have 2 or 3 people on the lease, or 2 people on the lease, whatever, that the way he had it was that each one individually would need to be able to afford the place on their own. But before we left, we were talking about like jointly the 2 people, have to be able to afford it. So what happens when, you get a couple who comes in and they've been dating, 15 years, and all of a sudden they move into your place and a month later they, break up, and then they're like, I need to get off the lease because this happens. Give me, what would somebody do next?
Okay, so let's talk about this. So I lease to somebody, and there's 2 people. It doesn't matter. They're a couple. They could be married too. Doesn't matter. Or they could be 2 best friends moving in together, and then they have a fight, right?
Right.
So so the question really is: there's 2 people on the lease, and one wants to leave, and they want to get off the lease, but they want to leave the other person on the lease.
Right.
So first of all, the answer is no. Okay. So it's a 12-month lease where both of you want it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I need to move, and I don't want this on my credit. So, well, you're paying your thing on time, so it's not going to go on your credit. But what if he doesn't pay? That's why you're still on the lease. Right? That's the problem. So now they're both on a lease. At the end of the lease, I'm going to send them a letter. We're saying that your lease just became month to month. You have to give me 60 days notice if you want to leave. And if the person says, hey, listen, can I stay without them on a lease? Yes, I got to write a new lease.
Okay.
But they now have to qualify to be able to afford that place by themselves. And if they do, I have no problem with it.
What happens if you have the 2 people on the lease, and the one leaves without your knowledge,
right,
and they move somebody in the process? So now you have 2. What happens? Like
so
you don't find out. Say you don't find out for like 3 or 4 months.
I personally don't care.
Okay.
Unless the other person's a creep, but and there's some other things that can happen. But I don't personally care, because remember that the person A and person B, if person C is the new person, but person A and person B are on the lease, then person A and person B are responsible.
Okay.
Now, if person A and C can't afford the place together, I'm suing A and B.
Right.
And I don't really care. They understood when they signed the lease, it was a 12-month lease. Now, if they called me and told me what was happening, great. If they said, hey, this guy wants to replace this guy, that's great. You could do that at the end of the lease. But just understand that you're responsible until the end of the lease. I'm not taking anybody off the lease.
Okay. Okay.
You got it?
I got it.
Because it's for my protection. They signed the lease. It's a legal document. They may not understand what a legal document is, but a legal document has their name on it. Now, if they want a whole new lease at the end of the lease, that's fine. I have no problem with that. And same thing if the person left, I have no problem with it. I know that's happened to you a couple of times. You got a call, and I think it was a pretty bad situation. There was some violence in there.
Yeah.
And you had 2 people living together, and one was violent, and they wanted to so they didn't have to live there. And I advised you. I said they can move anytime they want, but they can't come off the lease.
Right.
And it didn't end well.
It happened to me a couple times, and and it's just like once it was because of violence, and I'm like, I understand that.
Right.
And the other times it's like, they broke up. It's not my problem. You have to figure it out. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not. You got to understand that you have a lease with these 2 people, and they have to understand that too. So leave it the way it is.
All right.
All right. Now, I want to talk about the stock market for a couple minutes and how crazy the stock market went after Trump got elected.
All right, you do it.
It went insane. And Bitcoin, wow, Bitcoin over, I think, at 93,000. Wow, that's insanity.
Didn't you say one of your friends who's a millionaire became a billionaire?
Yeah, one of my friends is a millionaire and became a billionaire in last week.
Yeah.
And he was a multimillionaire, obviously, but he became a billionaire because he owns a huge mining complex, a huge Bitcoin mining complex.
Okay.
And he has all this Bitcoin in, you could call it storage. I mean, it really is storage. And the value of it just doubled. It doubled since, so it doubled. It didn't quite double from when Trump, went up about 30% when Trump got elected, but that's what pushed him over. I mean, he's got some Bitcoin that he bought, at 10,000.
Yeah.
That he's sitting on, so he's did really, really well.
Okay.
And it's pretty super exciting. As a matter of fact, last year I was at a meeting with him, and he said, "Buy all the Bitcoin you can right now." And sure enough, he was right. and I didn't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not a fan of Bitcoin.
I'm not a fan of Bitcoin. You know, I've got my money in certain places, like silver is a big one. It's funny because I'm watching silver rise. But if my money was in Bitcoin instead of silver, I would have done much better.
Yeah.
But you know, you got to pick your investment. I'm not looking for the lottery ticket.
Yeah, but I know that you're not a fan of Bitcoin, but why are you not a fan of? I mean, I'm not. I don't think I'm a fan of Bitcoin either because you can't do anything with it or you can't pay with it or anything.
Yeah,
But what's? I mean, I guess
the only value Bitcoin has right now is what somebody will pay for it.
Okay.
Tomorrow, the whole network could be shut down, and there's no value in it. Nobody could buy anything with it. I mean, you can. You got to turn it into dollars, and then you buy a Bitcoin. But you know, by now, I would have expected that you would have been able to buy more things with Bitcoin.
And you don't think that's going to expand in the future?
It may. That's what everybody's working on, right? But now Bitcoin may be replaced by something else. Who knows? You know, one of the reasons that Bitcoin went up so well over the last 2 weeks is because Trump says that he's going to end regulations on Bitcoin, and Elon Musk is a big cryptocurrency, you know, kind of like fan, right? So do you know about the Dogecoin, DOGE? So there's a coin called Dogecoin, DOGE, right?
I know of it, yeah.
Right. So Elon Musk, and was it Elon Musk and somebody else? Was it Kennedy? I think it was Kennedy. Were put in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency. So they created a new place, a new what do you want to call it?
Entity.
Yeah. It's like the government.
Yeah.
Called the Department of Government Efficiency.
Okay.
DOGE.
Oh, okay.
Right. And Elon Musk has been a Dogecoin fan for a really long time. Okay. And he always talks about it. That tripled. In a week, it tripled.
The Dogecoin?
Yeah, Dogecoin. Yeah, just because of the name.
Okay.
So I had like $1,000 sitting in my Bitcoin, my coin locker. I'm like, I'm having fun. I'm just going to buy it. And I have no idea what it's doing. But it's just kind of funny that they would do that they would name it that.
Okay.
So it had the largest move it ever had because of that.
I was hearing that, I thought it was John F. Kennedy. I was hearing that I guess Trump put him in charge of health, yeah, right. Because there's all these additives and food colorings and all this stuff.
Right, so it used to be, it will be up until June 20th. Right now it's the Department of Mental Health, and it'll become the Department of Health.
Okay.
You know why? It was always the Department of Health, but did you see who was in charge of it?
No.
A fat transgender.
Oh, okay.
Right? So her mental health, or his mental health is a problem. How do you put somebody like that in charge of the Department of Health? It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
So now he's going to be taken over, and it'll become the Department of Health again instead of the Department of Mental Health.
Yeah, and I think they're looking to change like student lunches or what you're allowed to put into some.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah,
right.
I think it's great.
Right. So Robert Kennedy Jr. has been an advocate for health food for a really long time, and healthy living and healthy supplements, etc. I mean, just an amazing guy. You know, it's funny because Linda been following for a long time. I came back. I went to an event and I took my picture with RFK Jr. I came back and she's like, "How'd you get that? I wanted to meet with that guy. I wanted to meet that guy." I was like, I had no idea he was even into this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was just hearing about it earlier today. Actually, it came up in conversation, and I'm like, "Oh wow, it would be great," because there's so many things that are allowed here in the U.S. that are banned in other countries.
Right,
so.
What you have to think is like, wow, why does Australia ban diet number, whatever it is, and we don't?
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense at all. The French fries in other countries are made, like McDonald's French fries, are made differently than the French fries here, because some of the ingredients are not allowed here.
Yeah,
like what ingredients are French fries? They're potatoes.
No, it's what they fry it in or something that they use in the oil or something.
Exactly,
like that.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
So, yeah.
So it's insane.
Yeah. No, so I'm looking, I think that'll be good. I'm looking forward to seeing those changes.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to seeing America get back to normalcy.
So you know what I think is interesting? Like I haven't been on Facebook that much lately, but the last couple months I've been too busy and I haven't been able to get on Facebook. Now that things are opening up a little bit, I've been going on Facebook a little bit, and I'm seeing some of the anger and frustration, pro and against Trump, and I'm seeing these conversations going back and forth, and it just really blows my mind, just the misinformation that's out there.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of it.
Yeah, it just really, and I see the Trump supporters like firing back angry, and then I see the Kamala supporters firing back angry, and it just
Was that her name? I couldn't remember.
It's something like that. But I just see all these people, and then even some of the radio people that we know have been,
one of our favorite people at this station.
Yeah, because I kind of stay out of politics because I just don't want to get involved in it. But I saw some of the posts, and I'm just like, come on, you got to be kidding me. And then, right before, I guess, the second half started, we were hearing something like one of the radio commercials saying, we were married and we were doing fine, and all of a sudden now that we're on different sides of the fence, they're getting divorced. Right. And I've had a friend of mine call me up because she knew that I was a Republican, and she was going to come over to my house for Thanksgiving. And this was a couple years ago. It was at the last election, and she didn't know I was a Republican. And then I guess when she found out from a friend of hers or whatever, and she's like, "Is it all right if I still come to your house? Can we still be friends?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, we just don't talk about politics. It doesn't matter." But it's like everything is fine. But it was just interesting because a lot of my girlfriends are very, very Democratic, which is crazy because we're all Jews, and it's just like, what are you doing?
That's a whole other thing. Is how a Jew could vote for a Democrat. I never understand, but that's a whole other issue. But let's go back So it's funny because we have one of the things that people say all the time, like Trump's going to kill democracy. No, Trump literally saved democracy. Look, the freedoms that we had that were taken away by Biden, the freedom of speech, biggest one. Freedom of making your own medical choices. The freedom of having to wear a mask or get vaccinated or not. I mean, that was all taken away by the Biden administration. That was horrible.
I was really frustrated with the whole, required. So I don't know if you know, but I used to work in a hospital lab for about 16 years. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I left is because I was going to school for my PhD, and I'm like, all right, finally I can leave this place. But if I was required to take that vaccine to work there, I would have left because of that. Like, because it's like, you don't get to tell me what I can and can't take. Like,
right, and put it in your body.
Yeah, it's like it was bad enough I had to take the TB test. That is completely pointless after, for the last 50 years. But that would have been enough for me to not go back into the medical field and just like leave entirely after all that. So
yeah, so now we have freedom. We didn't have it before. Yeah, which again amazes me. So we got what?
Dr. Deb's camera's frozen
again. All right. Yeah, well, I got so many problems with this right now, so I don't even know.
Well,
what
at least it's frozen on me.
Right, but we actually have Jack. What's going on, Jack?
So I really enjoy listening to you guys, girls. Then now I'm really inspired that you're on the same page as me politically. So anyway, where do I go? Where can I go for this investor schooling, and how much does it cost?
All right, you ready? How much money do you have in your hand right now?
In my hand, I'm driving as I'm talking.
Right. So how much money do you have in your hand?
I got nothing.
Exactly.
Wow,
so now you can come for free. On Thursday night, you can come for free. You go to investorschooling.com and you RSVP. And if you RSVP, you could come for free for the first class. Come, learn.
All right,
and when you learn, you're going to learn more.
Address, what was the address?
The address is actually 108 Corporate Drive East in Langhorne. But if you go to investorschooling.com, you'll see the address there, and you can also RSVP so we know you're coming.
All right, that's everything.
Right. So, but we want Thursday. You know why?
Got to get started.
Because what?
He has to get started. He said.
Yeah, that's for you. But we want you this Thursday because I'm going to be teaching something that you are going to love, and if you don't show up, you're not going to get it.
You know what? You know what you're teaching.
Speaking of that thing with Kennedy, yeah, I like what he's doing and I like his ideas, but he's already getting pushback from pharma and all because he's against vaccinations. So already he's got some big money people pushing back.
Right. So pharma will drop because now there's common sense instead of the craziness that there was before.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, man. I'm 72. I've been on an election, and it was about this.
Oh, me too.
I know.
I almost felt like there was such a weight on.
I mean, really, welcome back, America. Yeah. We're finally no longer his whole election. Now we're going to actually do what we can actually really do, which is going to be great. Because we're not going to have Nancy Pelosi.
What a team he's putting together.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I love J.D. Vance. I love that Indian guy, Vivek. I have to say it like that, whatever his name is.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah, and then Tulsi Gabbard, or whatever her name is. Yeah.
So, I'm sharing the stage with Tulsi Gabbard next week.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty
really
cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so I have pictures with Trump. I have
so,
pictures with all these guys.
For your remedy there, it sounds like you got a head cold there, Larry. You go back to the old school Vicks Vapor Rub, man.
Are you saying you want to put vapor rub on me? Are you that kind of guy?
No, I did hear you about that health person that's in there right now. No, but I'm saying that was the old standby. Remember, Larry? I don't know how old you are, but
yeah, I do remember that.
My
Yeah.
mom put Vicks Vapor Rub for everything, man.
No, my mom couldn't stand that stuff because she had to touch it.
Yeah, you got to wear rubber gloves. Never get the smell of your hands. All right. So I look forward to meeting you. Are all three of you going to be there?
We will all be here.
Yeah, we'll all be here.
And our personality will be the personality that you're used to.
Yeah, we're all
because we are who we are. It's very funny, actually.
It's really great. Yeah, I look forward. It's going to be like therapeutic.
Yeah, there you go. And you're not far. You're right around the corner from us. You're about 20 minutes away.
Tell me, man.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. All right, so I look forward to meeting. God bless you. 7 o'clock,
Thank you.
108 East Corporate Drive.
Right, but why don't you go, like I said, go to investorschooling.com and sign up.
All right, do I have to bring like a suitcase of cash or anything?
No, you have to bring a pen.
Just a pen.
Bring a pen. We'll even give you paper if you don't want to bring it.
No, I'm coming there to learn how to fill that suitcase with cash.
That you will. That absolutely. We'll definitely learn how to do that. It may, it may be a very small suitcase and full of ones, but we'll learn. We'll teach you how to do it.
Oh, by the way, that 1% thing, when you were explaining it, was pretty. I was really getting encouraged by that.
Yeah, it makes it.
I thought, but then you made it didn't make. After you said you have to go by the rents that are in your neighborhood too, I'm thinking, let's see, my house is worth $500,000. You mean I can get $5,000 a month? I'll move out now.
Right, exactly. But you may not be able to get the $5,000 a month. That's the point. Yeah. But the real question is, would you pay for your house? So you didn't pay $500,000 for it, right?
No, about $220,000.
So if you could listen to this. So you could probably get $3,000, $3,500, and you make money on it. Now you can't. The person buying the house from you can't make money on it, but you can.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, got you. Yeah, every time I tell my wife, "Where am I going to go? Where are we going to go?" But yeah, I love to get some of that equity out there and invest it, like you say.
Well, we're going to teach you how to do that too. We teach people how to take equity out of the house all the time and invest it.
Yeah, once I come to your schooling thing, I'm sure you'll help me work on my wife too.
That's what we do. We teach you how to do it. Instead of following the advice of these registered reps that have no idea what they're doing.
Another thing, I guess you remember that old commercial about the quickest way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Any snacks there, or do we bring our own?
I always bring snacks. There's always snacks. I always take care of the snacks.
Yeah, we always have snacks.
All right.
I mean, you're not getting dinner here, but
we'll give you we'll give you some bread and butter. Wonder bread, white bread. No. All right, Jack. We appreciate the call.
Whoa.
I think I might have a Tic Tac in my pocket. I might have
Kennedy ain't going for no Wonder Bread, Larry. No Wonder White Bread. We came up with that.
Larry's over here dying. He's coughing. He can't. He has to have more honey.
Oh, all right.
Take care. God bless you all.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jack. Why don't you take us to a commercial while I try to get my voice back? This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach.
He's got a hot date tonight.
We sell nothing but education.
I'm taking my son up for his birthday.
And learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
You need to be in bed, man.
This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling.
All right, so
Don't go
just a
through
quick
life ignorant
reminder,
about how to
I do have a
become millionaire.
game coming.
Learn how to invest
so
in
you
real
could
estate, the
try to
stock
get out
market,
by,
precious metals, and learn from an expert.
59:20 at
No.
the
Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there. Investorschooling.com.
How's
That's
your ghost problem
investorschooling.com.
going there, Dr. Deb?
There's
This is
definitely
Larry
something
Steinhouse with
going on
Investor
still in my
Schooling.
house.
You may know me
Yeah.
from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows.
Whatever.
And you may
I
even
went-
know me
when
from
I
some
went
of these
to,
commercials. But listen,
New
I'm
Orleans,
teaching
I
stuff that
met
people
with a
need to
guy
learn
and
about
he-
money. In
he
fact, my
gave me
favorite
a couple
topic is money.
suggestions on what
So
to
go to
do,
investorschooling.com and you will learn things about money that
it
you
at least
never
gotten
even knew
better?
existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock
is it the
market,
same?
and about how to use your
it's gotten
IRAs
better,
properly. Go to
and then-
investorschooling.com and sign up for a
So-
complimentary class this Thursday
I don't know, I
night at
guess you
7
have to
o'clock.
probably take
That's
it offline, but- So there's
investorschooling.com.
something in my closet in my bedroom.
This is Larry
and
Steinhouse
that's
with
been
Investor
a little bit
Schooling.
more
Are you
active,
ready for
where everything
retirement?
else has
Have
been
you prepared
quieted
everything
down.
you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will
Well,
teach
whatever's
you
in my
ways to
bedroom is
better prepare for
definitely
your retirement using real
saying
estate
hello to
and
me.
the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right. And that's what we
I
teach.
admire
At
you.
Investor
I don't
Schooling,
think
we
I
sell
could do it.
nothing but education. Come to
I don't know,
Investor
something
Schooling
woke me
and
up
learn
yesterday.
how to
I woke
have
up
a
the
better
other night
retirement.
screaming.
Go to investorschooling.com
Phil
and
was freaking
RSVP
out 'cause
right now for this
something
Thursday's class
scared
at
me
7
away.
o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com.
So
That's
complicated.
investorschooling.com.
No, I mean, because I woke up and I looked straight
This is
ahead
Larry
and
Steinhouse with
something was
Investor
there, and I
Schooling. Do you know when the
screamed.
best time to buy
And,
investment properties
Phil
is?
was-
It's
he
now.
jumped out
It's
of bed 'cause
always
I
now.
just
You
don't
just
do
need
that.
to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and
interesting.
sign up for a complimentary class this
Whatever, it
Thursday
is what
night
it
and
is.
learn how to buy investment proproperties and make money every time.
Okay,
That's
you
right.
folks
That's what
about
we
ready to come
teach.
back?
We teach how to
Sure,
buy
why
investment
not?
properties and make money
get a
every
little extra
time.
time
Go to
there.
investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com.
Here we go.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
You're so happy to be back, Larry. Come on.
My throat it's not hurting. It's just hard to talk. It's like it takes a lot of work to talk. So welcome back to the Larry Steinhouse Show. I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Deb Anderson. Boy, this is getting bad.
It is getting bad.
Dr. Deb Anderson, and we are
Dr. Deb.
talking about real estate. We're talking about money. We're talking about Trump. We're talking about the great America that we're about to be living in. And I'm so happy about it.
You know, it was interesting because I have this client, and they're from Denmark, actually. So I used to work with them a couple years ago. She used to work there. I think I told you I used to work with a bunch of Italians, and she was from Denmark, and the other guys were from Italy, and they would send me all over the place to run conferences or to cover conferences and stuff. So she just reached back out to me because she's working with a company in her hometown in Denmark. And she's like, so what's going on with the election? And, and I guess, so I didn't say anything. It's kind of enough that I knew to just kind of keep my mouth shut. But they were kind of bashing Trump. And apparently in Denmark, they're very aware of what was going on here in the U.S. and as far as the elections and all that stuff goes. So they were asking me a lot of questions. And I like I said, I kept my mouth shut about which side I was on. And I'm just like, yeah, it's just interesting, a lot of stuff here and there and whatever. So I think and I'm sure it's not just Denmark. I'm sure other countries are very, very cognizant of what's going on here in the U.S.
Well, most of the countries that wanted Kamala Ding-Dot were enemies of this country because they wanted to be able to take over, like they're doing now with, Russia going into Ukraine. Russia would have never went into Ukraine if Trump was at the helm. Hamas attacking Israel never would have happened.
Yeah.
And it already looks like both of those things are about to end because Trump is elected.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because they don't want to deal with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I said within 3 months or maybe sooner, which would be great.
All right, so let's get off of politics. Why don't you go into the stock market? You were talking about the stock
We
market.
did,
earlier.
and I'm like,
You're done.
I'm done.
Larry's done. He's he's tired. He wants to go home.
Somebody call in and talk for me because I I got 15 more minutes of this, and my throat is like I'm telling you, it's like it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It's just hard to speak.
How
It's
about
like
some
it's
music?
an effort.
There we go.
We'll just play music.
Would you play music for the last 20 minutes?
Hey Glenn, why don't you talk to us?
Oh gosh, it's been a lovely week here. I spent $1,000 on my car this week.
Yeah.
What happened to your car? Come on.
What hasn't happened to my cars?
Maybe it's time for a new car.
No, I just got a new car, and it's allegedly a good car. It's a Mazda 6. It's supposedly a good car, but this week the starter went. Because we have all these keyless starters now, and mine just gave out right in the middle of going to brunch with a bunch of people I haven't seen in years.
Wow, that's
Just
terrible.
crapped out.
How old is this car?
It's 2014. It's not that old.
Okay. Yeah, it's not that old.
Okay, yeah.
You know, it's a Mazda 6. It's
So if
supposed
anybody
be a
wants to
good
call
car.
on, if anybody wants to call in, we're starting a GoFundMe for Glenn for his car. So the phone number is 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. And if you want to give Glenn a couple of bucks to get his car going.
We just spent.
Sorry, go ahead, Doctor.
No, we just spent like 25. I don't know, like a month or 2 months ago. We just spent like $2,500 on my daughter's car, and she's putting so many miles on it. We're like, what? And then it needed something else that was going to be another couple grand. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is time for us to start shopping for another car. So she just bought about a month ago. She just bought a Jeep because we're a Jeep family. So she just bought a nice
That's
little.
bad news. That's bad news. You know why?
Why?
Because when I was in the shop with my mechanic, I was talking casually to my mechanic.
Yeah.
And I actually asked my mechanic which vehicles, not to make you panic, but I said, which vehicles do you see most routinely? Which ones do you have the most trouble with? And they said Jeeps.
And what is it they have problems with? Glenn, did you ask?
Oh, I didn't push the issue. But they just said they didn't.
Glenn,
seem
you
to be
ever
happy
ride
with
a Jeep, Glenn?
Shut up! Shut up! I don't even want to know where
It's the
this
hardest ride ever.
Stop.
So every single thing in that Jeep gets shooken up every time you drive it.
That's the whole point of
so
driving
the bolts
a Jeep.
start coming out,
Shut
and
up,
the
shut
radios,
up.
the knobs start falling off, and
No. So I had a Jeep before the one I have now, and there was two problems I had with it. One, like I had to keep going through the radio because the radio just stopped working, and then we had a idiot who sprayed it with chemicals because he was detailing my car. So that when it finally whatever, so that was it. And the other thing that I've had problems with it is that when I was getting a tune-up at the dealership, did you remember this? When I was getting a tune-up at the dealership,
oh yeah,
one of the spark plugs detonated in the engine and took out most of my engine. So then the car was, yeah, I know. So thank God it happened at the dealership, because if it happened somewhere else, I completely would have been screwed. But it took out half my engine, and it took, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks to get it working again, because every time I got it back,
I so wish Omri was here right now.
Why?
Because when you say a spark plug detonated,
yeah,
that is the most hysterical thing ever. And
that's what they told me.
He would have jumped all over you.
No, but
how
that's...
about disintegrated? Maybe that was the word they used.
No, they told me. They said it was coming from the dealership that it detonated in the engine. That's their words.
There's
that's
no
not,
such thing as detonating.
That's what they
spark
told me.
plugs don't detonate.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what he told me. And they told me it happens like once every 10 years. And of course, I guess it was due, and it happened to happen in my car.
Well, that's okay. But the whole point was she had pieces of spark plug in her engine, and that was the real problem.
Yeah, and it took out my whole engine.
Yeah,
but other
that's
than
pretty common actually when something like that happens. When you get pieces in the engine,
that's it. It's over.
Anything, if you get anything, fragments of any metal in an engine, it's over.
It's over. Yeah. So that's when I decided to buy my other car. But I haven't had any problems with my current Jeep, and I haven't had any problems other than the radio and that whole spark plug incident. I did not have any problems with my Jeeps.
And you know what the cool part about having a Jeep, Glenn, is? If you get into a car accident, you don't even need an airbag because all these ducks come flying at you.
You're such a schmuck. So on my dashboard, I have something like, I don't know, 10 or 12 ducks. Larry's just jealous because he doesn't have any ducks in his car.
Nope, I'm really jealous I have no ducks in my car. So you guys, you know about that, Glenn? You know the duck is a Jeep thing?
The duck is
taking a call. Taking a call.
Oh,
okay,
he's taking
all
a call.
Right, he's taking a call. He's taking a call. He's taking a call.
He's taking
good,
a call.
good. He's taking a call. Good. He's taking a call.
It was funny because we were all out to dinner the one night. The last time we went out to dinner at the
and you got two ducks.
That night, Omri was asking me about the whole duck thing, and I'm like, it's a Jeep thing. It's a Jeep thing. So anyways, at the end of the night, we walk out to the cars. I was parked different away from you guys, and I get to my car, and there was a little duck sitting right there, and it was just funny. We had to call him to get, And then I think there was one time I got duck twice in one day, which was fun.
I've seen the duck. I've seen the duck on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
Yeah, I get the little ducks. It's great.
I just got ducked.
I get excited when I get ducked. It's fun. So,
Look, it's okay.
When I went to see that one house that had all the cats in it, I got ducked twice that day.
That's pretty cool.
I wish people would duck me more often. That'd be really, I'd like to be ducked a lot more often.
Oh, you got to get a different kind of car. I'm not so sure it's going to happen in your Mazda.
I've never been ducked.
So.
My hearing's a little off. I just want to make sure you're saying something that I think you're saying.
It's letter D. The letter D.
Did you say that we have a call?
We did, but they dropped off. They didn't want to.
They didn't want to talk to us anymore? We started talking about ducks and they got mad?
They were kind of rambling.
Oh, maybe it's better. Maybe it's better.
You must have a lot of fun entering these calls during the week, not just our show, but other shows, and people ramble.
Oh, I've been doing this for so many years that it's crazy.
You don't pay attention anymore?
We have a lot of lovely callers, but sometimes it's difficult. It is difficult.
You should talk about that caller who called 3 times at one time.
I don't know who that is.
Larry knows.
You mean the voicemail?
The voicemail guy, yeah.
The one. That might have been Glenn. I mean, not Glenn. Gene.
Oh, I don't remember.
No, maybe it wasn't Gene or Chuck. I don't know. Whatever.
You don't want to talk about that one?
Well, I told Larry last week we had a guy who called, and the show was wrapping up, and he wanted to say something. He wanted to say something really negative, and the show was wrapping up, and I said, okay, I'll pass that along, and he got really ornery and said, "I'm recording this call, buddy." I just had to laugh. Okay, you're recording the call. What are you going to do with it? He's
I know,
going
really.
to play it for
In
play it
fact,
for our boss.
it's been recorded 3 times. It's been recorded by him, by me, and also by the radio station, right?
Yeah.
So, whatever he wants. No, so you're talking about. So this happens a lot, Glenn. I don't even know if you know this. So because I give out my phone number, the same phone number, the 866-939-1137 phone number.
855.
Did I really just do that?
Yeah. 855.
855-939-1137. I actually gave that the whole number was wrong.
Yeah, the whole number was wrong.
Yeah. That's because I'm sick.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, 855-939-1137. Because I give out that number, also because I buy houses and I advertise on WPHT, I buy houses with that phone number, people realize that they're going to get me anyway. So they'll leave me messages during the week, and some of the messages are hysterical. And we had one guy who was listening to a repeat of Dr. Deb's birthday show.
Yeah.
And he called on Dr. Deb's birthday show because he wanted a book, because at the time we were giving him a book if you called, which is fine. Which is fine. So the first he leaves us a message, nice message, just want to wish Dr. Deb a happy birthday, and I want to get my book, and blah, blah. And then, an hour later, he calls again. I want my book. An hour later, I want my book. I'm like, okay.
He left a 3-minute message yelling at us about,
Right. So I forwarded the message to Deb, and she cracked up, and then we sent him a book. That's why I think it was Chuck from the first show.
Yeah, it was funny. But there was one time that the 3 of us were out at a bar. We're getting at that pizza place that's right around here, and they called up, and he could hear all of us laughing, just goofing off. And he's like, "Oh my God, it's just like the radio show!"
Right, exactly.
So it's just as funny.
Yeah, so that's always, it's always fun. It's always fun to meet fans. I actually had the other day. What happened? It was weird the other day. Oh, I had appliance guy come to my house, and he didn't fix it the first time, and it was getting a little frustrating, especially with how much it costs. And I called him up to, I was ready to go off on him. And I go, hey, the guy's name was Dave. I said, "Hey, Dave, this is Larry Steinhouse." He goes, "The Larry Steinhouse from the radio show?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, how can I help you?" And I said, "You fixed my washing machine and it's still broken." And he goes, "Oh, I didn't know that. We'll get somebody out there right away." So it was like he derailed me. I couldn't even yell at him. You know what I mean?
Well, we have that one plumber who's come out for me a couple times, and when he's like, "Is this Dr. Deb? Dr. Deb from the radio show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's me," And my husband's like, "Wow, look at you." And I'm like, "I know, look, I'm famous," Right. So it's just as funny.
It is. It is a lot of fun.
It's funny. Yeah. So I was actually driving to one of my properties, and I had to go up to the turnpike to do it, and I had to pull off to the side of the road because I had to take some email or some call or something. And I get distracted when I'm driving, so I just pull over. It was just easier. And all of a sudden, I get this message, like a Facebook message. "Is that you, Dr. Deb, who's on the side of the road?" I tried to get over, but I couldn't get over in time. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's me. Who is this again? It was just it was weird. I kind of recognized the name, but wasn't sure. But we were having this back and forth discussion. I mean, it was neat, but it was a little freaky at the same time because I was a solid hour and 20 minutes away from here. And that you saw me on the side of the road.
Wow, that's neat.
That was,
but when your license plate is Dr. Deb, it's kind of
I know, and I have the bright yellow Jeep, so it's hard to miss. But it still was just unexpected.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually.
So,
all right, so man, I'm telling you, it's amazing how hard it is for me to speak.
Which I think is interesting, considering you love to chat and let everybody hear your voice.
I know.
You love to be sage on the stage. I say that, sage on the stage.
It's very true. It's very true. I actually really enjoy teaching. We had a lot of fun the other day, right?
Yeah, we did have fun on that.
The other day we were talking about how to negotiate a property.
Right. So there's
That was great. That was a great class. It was actually one of my favorite classes ever.
Yeah.
And I just did an ad hoc class because you had asked me, you were trying to negotiate this deal before class started, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this as a class.
Yeah.
And we turned it into a class, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great class.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted to learn how to negotiate a real estate deal, this class is for you. Now, if you're not a student, you don't get to see it, but if you become a student, you obviously get to see it again.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Morgan online. What's going on, Morgan?
Hi. Hello.
Hey,
Come
Morgan,
on.
what's up?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hi. So I have an FHA home loan. I am at 2.5%.
Wow.
And my ex-partner, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, my ex-partner is on my mortgage. So I was wondering if there's any other options other than refinancing because they're at the 6.5 right now.
So they're no longer. So this partner is no longer with you, and they don't live there anymore.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
And do they want their name off the mortgage?
Yeah.
So do you have anything in writing that says you have to do this?
There's nothing in writing. It's just more or less that it makes me nervous that he's on there. So for my safety and the house safety, I would want him off.
All right. So there's two things. There's the deed and there's the mortgage. So you don't have to take him off the mortgage, but you can take him off the deed. Now he may object and say, "I'm not."
He won't come off. Yeah.
Right.
He
Exactly.
won't
Right.
the deed without coming off the mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a real problem. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but I mean, do you have any children with this guy?
No.
So you you wish you'd never see him again and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
I get it. Hey, I get it. I get it.
So there's an old saying, you know what? And I realize it's not divorce, but it relates. There's an old saying that says, you know why divorce is so expensive?
Why?
Because it's worth it.
Oh, yeah.
So now you have to go back and you have to say, look, I'm going to spend, a lot. And you're going to spend 3 times the amount of your mortgage payment, or 2 times the amount of mortgage payment, no, at least maybe 3 times
Yeah.
the amount of your mortgage payment, but I'll never have to talk to this guy again. And you have to look at it that way. I unfortunately, that is the reality. If you could nicely say to this guy, look, we did this together, and I'd prefer if you come off the deed, and I'll get you off the mortgage as soon as I can, and maybe he'll play ball, maybe he won't, I don't know. But that's the best for you, but unfortunately, he may not feel that way. And also, he may have trouble buying a house with his name on the mortgage.
Yeah.
Now, he won't permanently have trouble buying a house. For example, if he goes to buy a house like right now, how long have you been separated, or how long have you not living together?
A little bit over 2 years.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So it's not even a problem for him. So if he needs to go to get a mortgage,
No, I mean he.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, he hasn't asked me to do it. It's more of he recently got married, and I just don't want to have any kind of tangled problems.
Yeah, I got you.
In the future for when I go to sell the house, because I assume
You gotta
when
get
I
him
go
off
to
the
sell
deed.
house, he has to. Yeah.
You got to get him off the deed. So the
Okay.
first thing I do is got to get him off the deed. So you have to send him a deed. You could send him a quitclaim deed. Do you have any title companies that you deal with that you know of?
I actually have a quitclaim deed already written up, ready to go.
So send it to him and see if he'll sign it. If he does, that's great for you. I mean, if he's going to say, no, I'm not doing this, take the mortgage, maybe you say, listen, we were in love one time. I need some help from you. Can you help me one last time? And just do this and trust me with it. And maybe he will, maybe he won't, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Okay, I'll try that. Yeah.
The next thing you could do is come to investor schooling, and we could teach you how to make all that money so you can afford to pay it by yourself.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
All right, Morgan. We so appreciate you.
All right.
Appreciate you calling, and appreciate you listening.
Yeah, thank you.
You got. So it's funny. Somebody online rates a divorce is expensive because lawyers are bloodthirsty.
Scumbags.
I don't know if you're allowed to say that on the air.
Scumbag? There's nothing dirty about that.
I know, but I just don't know if you're allowed to say it.
It's not like it's.
You said it 3 times, and he didn't beep you, so I guess you are.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's not like you could say other things that we talked about earlier, but this I think
We can say those things too. It just there's 7 dirty words you can't say. Didn't you ever watch George Carlin?
Yeah, but it's been a long time since I've watched it.
And it's hysterical the way he does. And even now, right? even now, I can't believe that the FCC actually continues to say that you can't say those 7 dirty words when they're everywhere now. Like there's podcasts and broadcasts and Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff, and they still can't say them. I mean, come on. It get to the point where we're adults now.
You can say them on podcasts.
Yeah, of course, right.
You just can't do it on the radio.
Right, you can't do it on radio or TV.
TV, okay.
Which doesn't make any sense anymore. But look, it doesn't matter.
Whatever.
You could have pictures of people transgender dressing and taking their clothes off to show that they're transgender, but you can't say the word of the thing that's hanging out of their pants. You know what I mean? It's whatever.
All right.
Maybe now we'll get some normalcy coming up January 20th.
All right.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be good.
All right. You have anything exciting you want to say to anybody? We got about a minute.
Excited? I don't think so. I'm excited that I'm free again. I'm super
Yes, you
excited.
no longer have a job again, which is exciting too.
Yeah, so I'm very excited
Now you
about
can
that.
concentrate on helping more students make more money.
All right, now you're going to expect me to be at the school even more, I think, now. That's the only issue.
That's okay. You like being here. We know you like being here. Everybody knows you like being here.
I came here Wednesday, to hang out with you, and you're like, all right, I'm going to go help Omri. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing here?
All day. It took me all day to help Omri with
I
this
know, but I
problem.
came in just to hang out with you.
I know, but what are you going to do?
Whatever.
Anyway, I want to thank all the listeners for listening. We had a really good time today. I had a tough time in my throat, but I'm glad you were here. I want to thank all the callers. I want to thank, Jack and Morgan and anybody else who called in. I really appreciate you. Of course, I want to thank the sweet Glenn Page. I can't even do it. Yeah, that one, Glenn Page. And if you want to go and learn about this, go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. And you can take a complimentary class this Thursday night. Take care.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions or
All
statements
right,
expressed
you are
on the program
clear.
are solely those of
Thank you,
Investor
sir.
Schooling or their
Thank you,
guests.
Glenn.
and do
Take
not
care.
reflect the
Thank
opinions
you.
of WPHT.
Larry, which hour do you want?
Which show you want for
Philadelphia from the Cherry Hill Volvo
Which show? I don't care.
Studios, where
Second one.
relationships matter. Always live.
Have a great night.
They both sucked? Is that what you said?
WOGL HD3 Philadelphia from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Glenn, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, bye, Dr. Deb.
All right, see you
Bye,
later,
Larry.
honey. All right, go home, get some sleep.
Yep.
So it's interesting. I've been trying to get Shmulik to respond to me for like a week now.
Right.
And when I said, what's the paint color used on the ceiling and the walls, he responds right away.
Good. Hey, thanks. I'm gonna buy a quart of it. I'm gonna come pick it up on your way there.
Say that again. What?
Say I'm buying a quart of it today, or not a quart, a gallon of it today. Come pick it up at my house on your way there. No.
I gotta go tomorrow. I'm trying to rent out.
Try that.
I'm going back up tomorrow. Trying to rent this place out.
All right. So next week I gotta remember to come. Oh, next week we're off. The week after I gotta remember to come in here and get all these cameras fixed up now because I broke them all.
Are you doing the Piece of the Good Life next Saturday?
Yeah, I'll have to do it from
Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
Just remember the time difference.
I know. That's why I can do it.